All right, we're back. No Look Podcast coming to you in the future from the past. Tyler, we're filming this on Tuesday night, 10:26, because, quite frankly, the Packers are playing, and El Jefe, my pops, is in town, so we're going to be doing something for that. And, obviously, Tyler and I, we wanted to bring you the weekly content you guys so want and deserve, so here we are.
Yeah, I mean, had to do it. I texted Austin earlier this week. I said, "Hey, listen, what are you doing? Thursday night, big game, Packers versus Cardinals. We'll probably get into it a little bit, of course."
I didn't even realize
And
it was on Thursday,
he
honestly.
didn't
I'm
even
just
know. He was like, "Wait, what do you mean? Regards to what?"
This
I'm
should
like,
be this should be prime
Packers.
time. Like technically it is prime time, but usually Thursday night games are reserved for like the shitters. This is like one of the
Right.
best
And
games of the season.
yeah, and I think they had the full intent of this happening in the NFL. They were like, let's just give NFL fans shitter after shitter after shitter after shitter, and then maybe we'll give them one little gem with the Packers versus Cardinals. I doubt that they knew that the Cardinals were going to be undefeated, but this is going to be a fun one for sure.
Well, I don't know how fun it's gonna be. Do we jump right into it, Tyler? Do we want to talk about last week's records first?
Well, yeah, we'll get into last week's first. We'll get to the Packers Cardinals later. But let's just not forget Austin did not know it was on Thursday. So I had to tell him, I was like, let's pre-record. I know
Mm,
you want to get sloshed and watch the Packers
no.
potentially win against the Cardinals. And yeah, I mean last week, week 7, Packers did win. So
hmm
definitely happy about that one. I'm sure even though you did you even catch like a second of that game?
I was half dead on the couch of Jeff's Airbnb, watching it on my phone, the NFL fantasy app, just like nodding in and out of consciousness. So I did go back and watch the highlights. However, it looked like a good old fashioned team win there for the Pack.
Well, Austin, week 7, although you were half dead, you came out on top 10-3 this past week with predictions.
Mm,
I was 9-4. That brings our totals for the season. Austin 70-35, Tyler 69, nice,
nice. Yeah.
and 36.
Wait,
Um
wait.
Obviously there were
I think I've won like back to back weeks though, because you were up like a few games, and then I just keep crawling back, brick by brick.
well, last week we tied, right?
Are you
So
sure?
we were tied in the season stand. No. You last week you won, but we got tied in the season standings. So in
Right.
the whole total, and then this week you notched ahead because you had one win over me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, obviously we both lost on the crazy game between the Bengals and the Ravens.
True.
We both lost on the Thursday night game between the Browns and the Broncos. We both lost on the Panthers and Giants. And I won on the Raiders Eagles. You won on Titans Chiefs.
Mm.
And I think that was it. I mean, that Titans Chiefs game was really what clinched it for you because there was a lot of disparity. And honestly, when we're getting this deep into the season, Austin, I added, as I told you today, week 8, I added some spreads. So it's not money line,
Mm.
Jets versus Patriots like we were doing last week. I did double digit spreads. So if it's, minus 10 favorites or minus 14 and a half favorites, we're going to go against the spread and pick who we think is going to cover, I guess you could say. So it makes it a little bit more interesting rather than, this team's going to win.
Mm.
Got to be a little bit better. Just a
Yeah,
little twist.
I like that idea, and as I'm hearing it out loud, we should almost come up with like a No Look Podcast joint parlay for each week or something like that. I know you and I
I'd be
don't
down
always
for that.
agree on it things, but if we can come up with some money lines, some spreads, some over unders, hell, maybe we'll even throw in a few prop bets in there. We should come up with a No Look Podcast parlay on a weekly basis.
Do we perhaps release it on TikTok? Just be like, hey, these are the No Look Podcast
I like
six
that.
game parlay or
I
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debut it on
Well,
TikTok, and then maybe Yeah, I was gonna say do it like earlier in the week on TikTok, and then we can kind of reiterate
Post
on
it
the
to Instagram.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
if Doppler Dan
I
ever wants to respond to us, fucking, I don't know how he's gonna get this episode if I can't get his email.
it's probably high precipitation in upstate New York. He
Hmm.
probably is currently busy right now. But let's get started. Week 8, big week for Austin. Obviously, quiet week for Tyler with the Raiders on a bye. Um, we have the first game Thursday
Wonder who
night
he's gonna
prime
be rooting
time.
for then this week.
We have the Packers in Arizona in prime time. Do you want to start? Or you want me to start?
I mean, I don't know what to make of it, Tyler. You know, obviously the Cardinals are the best team in football right now. They're at home. It's on Thursday night, which is just weird in general. Typically, it's a high scoring game. You know, I think the Packers have the offense. Obviously, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, the reigning MVP. But news comes out, they got the best receiver in the NFL on the COVID list protocol. So it's like, all right, Alan Lazard had a good week last week. He can step up. MVS might be coming back. Oh, wait, no. They put Alan Lazard on the COVID list as well. I mean, granted, they're not 100% out this week. I think I read Devontae has to have two consecutive negative tests within 24 hours of each other. You know, so it's got to be like one tomorrow, one Thursday. But I think it's going to be a long shot. That changes the whole dynamic. You know, the Cardinals have a good defense as it is. Now, you know, they're going to be loading the box, and it's going to be like 2015 Packers all over again, where you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing to the 2021 version of Geronimo Allison, fucking probably like Equanimous St. Brown or something. I mean, they're probably gonna double cover
That name is
Tanya.
ridiculous.
Well, which one? They're both kind of crazy. Geronimo Allison,
Equanimous
Equanimous.
Saint. That's on our
uh,
list for the brackets.
yeah, he's up
Craziest
there with
names.
Peony and whoever else we got. Go to Brickashaw. Those are the favorites right now. But I don't know, Tyler. I mean, we're gonna need Tanyan to step up. We're gonna need Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon to step up. I don't know what's happening with Bakhtiari. He was practicing last week. I thought he might give it a go against the football team. I'm hoping they were kind of saving him for this game because that's a completely different dynamic. If we get him back at left tackle, we can move Elton back to, you know, left guard or right guard, wherever they want him. I mean, he could play. This guy's played every position on the line, and he's excelled at it. One of the most underrated linemen in the league, but we won't go there, Tyler.
Who's that?
Elton Jenkins.
Oh, Elton Jenkins. I
Mm-hmm.
thought you were talking about Bakhtiari. I'm like, he's the
No,
highest paid.
no,
Well,
no, no.
was.
Okay, we're giving our predictions, right? I've gone on record by saying I don't think as we get a follow in the middle of the broadcast for whoever other stream is playing right now. Thanks, Lord of Taco. We're gonna thank you twice. Right now when it happens in 2 days in the future. But um, where was I? Packers. I think the only way they win this game is if the defense steps up. I think Rodgers is going to be able to do enough. I don't think he has crazy numbers. Um, I think the defense is going to have to step up. Rashawn Gary, he's been making a lot of plays with Zadarius Smith out. Preston Smith, I mean, we saw a little bit of Jalen Smith. The Packers might have the most Smiths on the team. I don't know what's going on here. We're looking for a Guinness Book of World Records. Still without Jair Alexander. Eric Stokes has played well. They got Rasul stepping up as well. Darnell Savage. I mean, it's going to come down to the defense. That's got to be it, Tyler, because, I mean, Kyler, you know, K1, he's on an MVP type tear. You know, the receiving core may be the best in the NFL. I'm not sure that their run game has really shown their full potential. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to try to speak into existence. And of course, I'm going to pick the Packers, but wow, Tyler, I do not feel confident at all. I'm scared.
You know,
I'm having flashes when you're saying get drunk and watch the game. You know, I haven't watched. This is my first game watching with Jeff this season. You know, we're in California. The last time we watched together in a remote location, Key West, NFC Championship game against the fucking 49ers. I don't know. Bad juju on this one.
Austin, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. As I usually say throughout the whole entire season, defense wins championships. I think obviously they're gonna have to step up huge, and I think we saw this past week the Cardinals aren't, they're a team that plays up to expectations or who they're playing. Obviously coming off very slow against the Texans last week, and then obviously coming out in the second half and doing the complete opposite. But I just think this game is so different without the best wide receiver in the league, Davante Adams. I think it's tough. Obviously no Alexander, guarding DeAndre Hopkins. Losing Alan Lazard. There's just a plethora of issues and injuries, and your defense is dwindling with injuries. Obviously, Zadarius Smith, like you said. It's just so tough for me to pick the Packers. I wanted to all day. I was looking at this Week 8 matchup, and I was like,
well, not to mention how historically bad they are against scrambling and rushing quarterbacks.
Right. How can I pick the Packers? And I mean, honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if the Packers win this game, Austin, because of Aaron Rodgers. He controls his own destiny. I feel like he's one of those quarterbacks that goes out there. He can win any single game, just like Tom Brady, it feels like. But I got to ride with the Cardinals in this one. They're in Arizona, home turf, undefeated. They're playing against a beaten-up Packers team. I just think they're a little bit too strong. Now, if this was a healthy Packers team, I'd have no problem picking the Packers. And if this was also in Lambeau, given your current team, I would have no problem picking the Packers. I just think everything, the short bye week or the short week coming up after, a Sunday game, all these injuries, it's just everything's back against the wall for the Packers. Will they win? There's a slight possibility, especially since I just said they're going to lose. But I'm riding with the Cardinals on this one.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you for it. I mean, I'm completely biased in this pick. With Davante out and the Cardinals undefeated, really showing no blemishes thus far. I can't hate you.
I think this is like one of those games, though, Austin, where it's like all signs point to the Cardinals, right? And you're just like, obviously, the Cardinals. And then they're going to come out and they're going to fucking win it. The Packers are going to be playing pissed off. Aaron Rodgers is upset because everybody's against them. And then I'm going to look like a fool. But I first saw this.
Go ahead.
When I first saw this schedule, when the Cardinals were undefeated, I was like, this is the game that they're going to lose. This is that one game. And now I'm like, well, now I think it's going to wait another week.
I still think the Packers will beat the Cardinals, and then they'll come out next week and lose to the stinky Chiefs.
Yeah.
That'll just be the way it goes. Yeah.
Next game we got a stinker, in my mind. Panthers at Falcons. I'll go first. Obviously, the Panthers coming off a bad loss against the Giants in the Meadowlands. Sam Darnold, being chased by his Meadowlands Sam Darnold Jets ghost, having a stinker of a game. PJ Walker having to come in, for the first time this season after Sam Darnold was being considered as, a changed man. Their offense isn't the same without Christian McCaffrey. Their defense, where have they been against a poor, injury-ridden Giants team? I literally think half the Giants' offense was injured, whether it was Lyman, Kenny Golladay, Saquon, Sterling Shepard. You had goddamn Danny Jones catching OBJ-like passes out there. I think Matt Ryan he's turned the page this season. He's starting to be the Matt Ryan that he's accustomed to be. They're getting Cordero Patterson the ball. Calvin Ridley's back. Kyle Pitts is, playing big like they expected from him. I think this is going to go with the Falcons. They're at home. I'm going to have to ride with the Falcons on this one. I think that they're a little bit better, and also they're riding a little bit of a momentum wave right now where the Panthers are regressing. And I don't think they're going to progress without CMC.
Yeah, no, I'm completely off the Panthers bandwagon. They obviously started off the season 3-0. They dropped their last 4. Darnold, I thought he would have been good at, new face, new place. he had weapons. DJ Moore started out the season hot. I mean, Tyler, you have him in the fantasy league. I don't think he's done
I
that
traded him.
well. Okay, I don't think he's done that well over the past few weeks. Robbie Anderson looking like a complete bum. Whereas on the other side, Falcons sitting here at 3-3. I don't know. I low key want to say they could make a sneaky run in the playoffs. And I know I shit all over him last week. I'm pretty sure. Did we both pick the Panthers?
Yes.
Right. So, because I remember saying the Falcons, this. Well, I also remember saying I hate myself that I have to pick a team in this matchup, but I went with the Panthers. I was wrong, or excuse me, that was the Dolphins game. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of
I think
Falcons
you also said
Dolphins.
the same thing.
Yeah.
No, you
Anyways,
did say that against the Falcons
yeah,
Dolphins. I remember
Falcons
that.
Dolphins, and okay, my brain, I'm like a fucking little atom inside of the fucking cell or something. I'm just bouncing off all the walls.
Inside the nucleus.
Whatever, the fucking mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Mr. Robinson. Jesus. So Falcons, yeah, they beat the Dolphins. Now they get the Panthers this week, which is the game we're talking about. I'm just looking at their schedule, Tyler. After the Panthers, they got Saints, Cowboys, Patriots, Jags, Bucks, Panthers again, Niners, Lions. I mean, I don't know. I could see them sneaking out maybe 9 wins this season. I mean, what's that put them at? Nine and
Nine
nine
and
and
eight.
8. I don't know if that's good enough for a wild card, but that's just like typical Falcons, right? You think they're good and then they shit the bed. You think they're bad and then they start winning football games. It's like make your mind up. Do you want to try to rebuild? Do you want to get some draft picks, or do you want to try to maybe find people in free agency? I mean, clearly they didn't get a running back in free agency. Uh, I guess they put all their cards in Calvin Ridley, who's I don't know, he's been hurt, so it's hard to really say, he's if he's a bust or not. But I can't make my mind up on him. I'm officially out on the Panthers. I think I'm out on the Broncos, which we'll get to. Falcons, I'm not completely out on, but I think I'm gonna pick them in this matchup.
It's a good pick, I think. Next game we got Titans at Colts. Obviously the Titans coming off of a monstrous win, as most people are saying, against the Chiefs, holding them to 3 points. And the Colts coming off of a big Monday night game against the Niners, where they won in a monsoon. Austin, this is a
Mm,
pretty easy pick for me. Um, you're not stopping King Henry in this matchup. I don't care
mm,
who it is. The guy is too hot. He's too drippy. He's out there throwing passes better than Ryan Tannehill at this point.
mm.
The guy is a fantasy football monster. Everybody that didn't pick him number 1 through 3 is probably crying their eyes out, wishing they did. Um, I honestly, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I think he rushes for 250 in this game. He's leading the league in carries. He's leading the league in percentage of total amount of yards by the team, I guess you could say, per by the player. It was some stat I saw. Alvin Kamara is second, but the Titans have too much momentum. They're feeling great about themselves, even though they lost to the Jets, a few weeks ago. They're coming off of a big win. The Colts are just the Colts. They're
Hmm.
just their offense is so bad that it's also kind of good. It's weird. It's like, Carson Wentz is he good, and then he throws a bad interception to the guy, like a lateral to his chest.
Hmm.
Um, it's just the Titans' game to lose at this point, so I'm gonna have to ride with the Titans on this one.
Yeah, I as well do not care to spend too much time. Derrick Henry had more passing touchdowns last week than Pat Mahomes. I mean, whoever would have thought that would be the case. I mean, they look completely dominant.
I wish that was a prop bet.
Right? I mean, you put $100 down on that, you're fucking living in the Hidden Hills for the rest of your lives. It's all paid for. um, but yeah, I don't know if it's a testament to the Titans being that good or the Chiefs just really being that bad, which I still find it hard to believe. Although that was a pretty egregious, lopsided game. The Colts are not good. I mean, I can see them making the playoffs just because they play in a poor division. I mean, let's see, they got the Jaguars. 2 more times this season, and they got the Texans 1 more time, right? That's 3 easy wins. You know, if they split the out of division games, they got the Jets once, the Patriots. You know, like I said, I could see them making the playoffs, sneaking in there. But, you know, Carson Wentz, I don't know. The guy, he goes out there and he tries to be Superman on every play, right, Tyler? His knee is practically fucking down in hell, right? The fucking defensive lineman tackle him all the way to the center of the earth, and he's still trying to throw the ball away and he'll intercept it or make a bad fumble. I don't know. He's just got to kind of reel it in a little bit. On the other side, Derrick Henry, best running back in football. You know, you got A.J. Brown back last week. He looked phenomenal. Tannehill had one of those games where he's making these nice throws downfield, and at the same time, he throws an interception directly in the defensive hands. I don't know what's going on there, but as of right now, I think the Titans are just a better football team.
Next game we got in Austin, the first spread game we got of the day on the No Look podcast. Dolphins at Bills. Bills are favored 13.5. I'll go first, let you marinate on it because it's the first spread game. Obviously, Dolphins.
How much you said?
13.5. Obviously, the Dolphins haven't won since, I believe, week 1. They're coming off losses to the Jaguars. They go to London. They lose. They can't win. They come off of an overtime loss against the Raiders. The Bills coming off of a bye week, prior game, slipping into the end zone, losing to the Titans by a nail biter by 3 points. Probably should have went for the field goal. Took it to overtime. Josh Allen slipping on the 1 yard line or right before the 4th down and 1. Austin, this is going to be a bloodbath. I'm taking the spread on this with the Bills. I think they cover it. I think they beat it. I think they win by 21. They win by 28. If this spread was, 21, I would still take it. Yeah. I think the Bills are going to absolutely slaughter the Dolphins. It's going to be disgusting. It's in Buffalo. They're coming pissed off. They're off of a bye week. They've had a week to prepare. They're mad that they lost to the Titans in a game they shouldn't have lost. Bye week, coming off that bye week, feeling healthy, feeling good. Stephon Diggs back. Josh Allen's. I just there's no reason for me to explain this. It's just all Bills. At Buffalo, cover the spread. Put it on the fucking parlay.
Yeah, there was a split second when you said 13.5, and sounds like that kind of trap spread. And I was gonna try to talk myself into the Dolphins. Excuse me, but there's no shot. Bills coming off the bye. They beat them 35-0 the last time these teams faced off a few weeks ago. The Bills, they lose to the Titans last week, which is now making more sense after the Titans, slaughtering the Chiefs. I think the Bills are going to come in this week and do a better job at making Dolphins extinct than SeaWorld is. I mean, Tua, he's back, but he's not really doing much. I'm not sure what's going on. The running back situation, Myles Gaskin, he's good 1 week, he's bad the next week. That offense is terrible. I think I went on record, saying this last week, Tyler. One cornerback on the Dolphins defense isn't enough to help the whole side of the ball out. I mean, it's going to be all Buffalo, and yeah, this one's going to be bad.
Next game, we got a second spread game of the week, Austin. -10 Bengals at the New York Jets.
You better keep track of these spreads too on our picks. You better write down next to the picks.
I'm a big betting guy now, Austin. I've been making parlays and losing them every week. So I know the spreads. Bengals -10. This one's interesting. I really, really, really want to go with the Jets on this one. But last week, Austin, the Patriots, I should say, were, I want to say, -13.5, just like the Bills were. They could have even been a little bit lower. And I was like, this is obvious. The Jets are gonna get that. They're gonna cover. Like, I'm gonna go with the Jets on this one. Boy, was I wrong. Thank God I didn't bet on that game. 54-7 or whatever it was. An absolute shit pumping game of the century without Tom Brady, after Tom Brady allegedly said that he would own the Jets at any point since Aaron Rodgers says he owns the Bears. This is an easy pick for me, Austin. Bengals -10, absolute lock of the week, I would say. It just makes the most sense. The Jets are without Zach Wilson now, bringing in Joe Flacco again. Joey Burrow and Jamar Chase, looking like Bonnie and Clyde out there, robbing everybody with touchdowns. It's just all Bengals. Their defense is playing really well. After this week, Austin, the Bengals could potentially be, they already are the number 1 seed in the AFC. They're going to continue that after this game.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Bengals, they beat the Ravens last week, who I thought were the best team in the AFC by more than 10. The Jets get completely blown out by the Patriots. No Zach Wilson. I just don't even know how they're going to score any points. I mean, they'll be lucky to get a couple field goals and just say they're able to put points up on the board against the Bengals. We got my guy, Joe Burr, and then Jamar Chase Bank as straight cash. I mean, they're my second favorite quarterback receiver duo, obviously behind Aaron Rodgers and Devontae. They're fun to watch right now, Tyler. And I love the new dynamic. It's been Steelers, it's been Ravens in that division. The Browns were kind of, well, they won the division last year, so they kind of had their moment. Now we got the Bengals coming in hot. Everyone's saying, oh, they should have drafted a lineman, right, to keep, protect Burrow. You don't need another wide receiver. You got Higgins. You got Boyd. I mean, clearly they were wrong. Jamar Chase, he's on pace, Tyler. I read something. He's on pace to completely shatter Randy Moss's, single season rookie records, other than the touchdowns. I think he's on pace to beat him by the receptions by 20-something, yards by 200-something. But Randy Moss, 17 touchdown receptions his rookie year. That's going to be tough to beat, even if there's 20 games in a season. Obviously, now we have an extra game played, 17, then one more extra than when Randy Moss was playing. But nonetheless, incredible rookie season thus far from Jamar Chase. And watch out for the Bengals. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So far, Austin, we have a 14 parlay. So far, the No Look podcast has agreed on Falcons money line, Titans money line, Bills -13.5, and Bengals -10. Next game we got Steelers.
I'd be down to put money on that.
I mean, I'm probably gonna throw $5 on this after.
I'll Venmo you if you want to split
it. Next game we got Steelers at Browns. Obviously, Steelers coming off of the bye, Browns coming off of a bad win, I guess you could say, against the Broncos. D'Ernest Johnson, star player for the 1 week, getting Nick Chubb back this week. Obviously, Jarvis Landry's back. Obviously, Odell Beckham's back. Baker Mayfield could possibly play. They're saying it's iffy. Maybe by Thursday when this airs, we'll know more. But as of right now in Cleveland, this is a must-win game because we were just talking about the Bengals. AFC North, must-win game for both of these teams, kind of keeping their playoff hopes alive early in the season. Ravens second, Bengals in first. You have the Browns and Steelers right at the bottom there. I just think right now, coming off the bye, the Steelers are not prepared for this Browns team. I don't think that they're going to be good enough. I don't think that their offense is going to be able to compete against this Browns defense. Myles Garrett's going to be eating Ben Roethlisberger like he's a bunch of pierogies in Pittsburgh, freshly made, and that's a little Pittsburgh reference.
Love me some pierogies.
I'm going to ride with the Browns on this one. Nick Chubb back. If Baker Mayfield's out or not, I think they're going to ride Nick Chubb until his hamstring falls off his leg again. And might I add, the Browns have the best running team in the NFL. I don't care what they say about the Ravens and how good of a running team they are. They got Nick Chubb, who can easily run for 150 plus any given day. They got Kareem Hunt, who Austin, as he knows, can run for 100 plus every given day. Oh, and catch the ball. Mm-hmm. And now they got D'Ernest Johnson, who in his last game, he's only started one other game, has averaged 120 yards in 2 games that he's played. This guy is a fucking beast, and he's not even a starter anywhere. And this team has 3 legitimate starting running backs, and that's why Baker Mayfield doesn't need to throw the ball.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was stewing over it in my head, Tyler. I can't endorse the Steelers right now. They're just playing bad football. Let's look the games that they won. A fraudulent Broncos team. I put an asterisk next to the Bills game. Week one, no one really knew what was going on yet. Excuse me. This LaCroix is just making me burp everything that's in my
It's
stomach right now.
slapping. Why is why is it so spicy?
Yeah, what's up? Um, they beat a Seahawks team that we now see are fraudulent as well. Yeah, I mean, Nick Chubb's back. I think Baker will probably play. They got Jarvis Landry back. They got OBJ, Hooper, Njoku. They still have all their weapons. Um, I will not be playing Donovan Peoples-Jones this week. I went out on a limb, started him like 5 minutes before kickoff. I didn't realize I was, driving home from work, Tyler. We're getting ready to do the podcast. I had no idea he got injured pregame. Probably gave a notice 5 minutes before. They said he was questionable. He never touched the field. You got Dearness Johnson out there just trying to dearn this bread. And I think he's going to be the backup running back there for the future. They may trade Kareem Hunt, kind of by default. He's on the IR. He's hurt right now. Dearness Johnson, great story if you haven't heard that. He's
can you
messaging.
trade someone on the IR?
That's a good question. I don't know. I know the deadline is November 2nd, so technically they still have another week. I feel like
Hmm.
I feel like you should be able to. Um, obviously there's probably some kind of clause there as far as compensation for the salary. But I mean, if you have him under contract for this long or this much money, and you got a guy like Dearness Johnson who's on a rookie contract, I mean, you already got Chubb. This guy can clearly come in, play a third round back role. He's good catching the ball out of the backfield. That makes the most sense to me. I think the Browns, they got a better defense in my opinion. TJ Watt can't, put the whole city of Pittsburgh on his back. He's done it in the past. I don't think he's going to do it this week. So I'm rolling with the Browns. They're rolling
Yeah, I
Brown
mean,
out.
yeah, I mean that's a solid point. I didn't even think about that trading Kareem Hunt. I feel like you get a lot of value maybe in the secondary. The Browns are lacking in cornerbacks and DBs. I feel like they're being getting
Lineman.
toasted
Mm.
out there. Linemen too. Although I feel like they have a decent line, they're just kind of injury ridden. But they also have Felton, who's also I think a rookie or a second year guy who is a primary catching running back out of the backfield. So Kareem Hunt, is he on the block
I
from
don't
the No
know.
Look podcast?
It's
I don't
not.
know. You answer that question.
I think he's kind of tiptoeing around that hot seat. He's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing musical chairs. He's tiptoeing around it.
I wouldn't mind Kareem Hunt in silver and black. So
Oh
if the Raiders
Jesus!
want to trade a conditional 6th round pick for him, I would be there for it.
How many washed-up
Um,
running backs you want? You got Josh Jacobs. You got Kenyon Drake. You got Peyton Barber. You got Jalen Richard. I mean, do you?
Josh Jacobs is not a washed up running back by no means.
I don't know.
Just because he got into a altercation with the police, or altercation, I should say, with the steering wheel in a car accident when he was driving drunk, doesn't mean that he's a washed up running back.
I don't know. Goodell's gonna come
Speaking
down
of
with the hammer.
Speaking of getting beat up by the Raiders, the Eagles are the next game against the Lions in Detroit. Austin, I'll allow you to go first. Obviously, I think
Man.
I know who you're picking, or you don't know who you're picking.
No, well, it tears me apart because obviously I hate the Lions, but I gotta admit I'm a Dan Campbell fan. This guy is electric. He's a football guy. A guy's
Right.
football. He's just the epitome of a football guy. He's out there, he's the NFL version of Coach O. He's consuming more caffeine than a Starbucks barista does through their pores when they're making the fucking macchiato or whatever the hell it is. But I don't think the Eagles are as bad as their record shows. They've played some tough games to be sitting there at 2-5. They lose to coming off a loss against the Raiders, decent. 6 points against the Bucks. I mean, they beat the Panthers. They lose to the Chiefs. That could be one right there. That could be an asterisk because normal Chiefs, it's like clearly you pick the Chiefs over the Eagles, but this year you don't know what's going on. Lose to the Cowboys. The Niners are really the only bad loss I'd put on their resume. I think Hurts is a starting quarterback in this league. I'm gonna come out and
Hurts
say
is
it.
falling out.
I mean, yeah, win or lose, he's really doing his thing. I guess I'm gonna just ride with the Eagles on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Austin, coming from a guy that's picked the Lions twice this year, it took me every little bit
How can you pick
not
them
to pick
twice
them.
after numerous times saying they're going to be the first team to go 0-17?
I picked them twice. I regret it, obviously, as I'm sitting one game back in our season records. Easily could have been in first right now. But I was
Shoulda,
thinking,
coulda,
Austin, this could
woulda.
be the game. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. This could have been the game, Austin, that the Lions can win. This is an Eagles team that has some injuries. They're not playing well. They're not executing and finishing games. And then I'm just like, it's the Lions. I don't even care if they're at home or they're
Hmm.
away. They're just good at losing. They're just really content and really good at losing. And I think this is a good game for the Eagles to bounce back. Obviously losing Miles Sanders this past week. He's questionable. He's probably not going to play. Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell are going to get a lot of touches, who have felt super comfortable in the backfield because Jalen Hurts can, pass them the ball out of the backfield. So those are
Hmm.
good guys to surround Jalen Hurts with. I think this is a good game for the Eagles to bounce back from, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the Eagles just because I can't pick the Lions anymore because they've just fucked me over too
Hmm.
many times.
Yeah, I don't know how, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, I don't know how you got
Yeah.
there, but I almost had an incredible idea, but unfortunately the Jets have one win right now. I was gonna say, Tyler, remember for high school football, if you didn't make the playoffs, you'd have like a consolation game, like a
Right.
crossover or something. I was gonna say if the Lions and Jets were both 0-17 at the end of the season, they should just play one extra game to try to give one team a chance to not go defeated. But the Jets, unfortunately, I guess, have a win thus far. Lions, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, Tyler. I mean, they go Eagles, Steelers, Browns, Bears, Vikings, Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, and then Packers. I don't really see them being favorite in any of those games. Obviously, on the words of Al Pacino, any given Sunday. I don't know. I'm starting to maybe hop on the bandwagon with you and say we may have the first 0-17 team.
I'm gonna offer a proposition for the NFL to take an idea. Obviously, you had the crossover game idea, which isn't bad. I mean, AFC versus NFC. Two teams that don't play. Maybe they play every 4 years. But how about this? Let's have a team. Any team that finishes 0-17 doesn't win a single game throughout the regular season. They get one extra game.
Hmm.
Let's see if you deserve to be in the NFL. You face off against the team that wins the national championship in college football, and you go head to head with that team. And if you lose, you just get relegated. You get tossed out of the league, and you have to earn your way back in. If you go 0-17, you're not allowed in the NFL. You're banned for like a year or two or three, and then you're allowed back in over time. But obviously that won't happen. But I would still find it very interesting to see the national championship team in college face a team that went 0-17. I
I
think
love the idea.
we
I'm just very
we
firm
might
in
see
my
a
stance. What?
we might see a college team beat an NFL team. I could
No,
see someone
no,
beating this Lions
no.
team.
I'm very firm in my
I
stance. I remember when the Browns were the laughing stock of the NFL and the Alabama dynasty was in full force. People were throwing that hypothetical situation out there. Tyler, we're talking about grown ass men. Even if there's, half the team is rookies. They've gone through an NFL offseason, which, we've seen Gronk, obviously known for his muscular figure. We saw him in college, and then even like his first or second year in the NFL, he put on a lot of muscle. He got a lot more experience. Some of these guys are, freshmen. They're 18 years old, Tyler. They would get crumbled if they played against an NFL team. It would never happen, and I would bet every single game, I would bet my whole bank account that they would lose. And we got our mascot. Oh, he's getting big too. Golly. I mean,
Yeah, he
shit,
doesn't
when
know
did
what
I
to do
see
right
him? A
now.
month ago. He's fucking already sprouting up. Look at this guy. Stinky booty boy. Hey.
Hey, stinky booty boy. He's scared of the
Oh,
light.
yeah, he is. He's like, what is going on? I'm about to be abducted right now, Dad. What are we doing?
He's like, get me out of here.
Last
I
time I
agree.
saw a ring, a circle this bright, I was staring in your booty hole.
I agree though. I do disagree though, and I do think that there is teams or a team
No
that could have
shot.
beat an NFL team. Austin, I mean, you look at the
Maybe.
Alabama
No,
alumni.
no. Okay.
Oh my.
Yes, maybe a Senior Bowl team or like an All-American team, but not one single college team. No shot.
I don't know. There were some Alabama teams that were pretty strong that could have beat some of those 0
No.
16 teams.
No.
I mean,
Never.
you got, Minka Fitzpatrick, you got Amari Cooper, you got, I mean, shit, half the NFL is Alabama, but I guess we'll agree to disagree. Next game, we got another spread game of the week. We got 4 of them. This is the third. Rams minus 14.5 at Texans. I'll go first. Obviously, Rams, running through the league this year. They're, on a tear. What are they? 5-1, 6-1.
6-1. 6-1. Yep.
Texans, 1-6, only won one game this season. I think this is what is it? Is it a mirage?
Mirage.
Is it yeah, I think this is a mirage bet, Austin. 14.5. That's more than 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty decent sized margin. And if I'm not wrong, Austin, last week the Rams faced the Lions. They had the same odds, 14.5. They were favorites against the Lions. Did they cover?
Well,
Did they cover, Austin?
that was a loaded game
They did
though,
not.
because Jared Goff would have fucking sold his soul to beat the Rams in that one, and he came kind of close.
They did not cover, Austin, and here's the one key factor of why they're not going to cover this week, and it's Tyrod Taylor coming back from injury. The Texans finally don't have Davis Mills, who I don't even know where the fuck he came from. He sounds like a fisherman, or a professional bowler, or a professional baseball pitcher.
What's the
General Mills?
cereal company?
General Davis Mills here. Well, General Davis Mills did not lead the Texans to any victories. Tyrod Taylor's back. I don't think the Texans win, Austin, but I'm taking the Texans against this spread. I don't think the Rams cover. I think the Texans, sneaky pick of the week, is the Texans over the Rams versus the spread.
I don't think that's a sneaky pick at all. I think that's a stinky pick. In 3 of their last 4 games, the Texans have not scored double-digit points. They scored 22 against the Patriots 3 weeks ago. Rams, like you said, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. Their only loss against the undefeated Cardinals. I mean, they get blown out. The Texans got blown out by the Cardinals. They got blown out by the Colts, that you and I are in agreement with are not a good football team. They get blown out by the Bills. I just don't see them coming even close to the Rams in this one. So I'm going to go, minus 14 and take the Rams.
Even with Tyrod back at the helm?
That doesn't make a difference. The ship is already...
Doesn't make a difference.
The Titanic has already hit the iceberg. It doesn't matter if it's still above water. It's going down.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If this hits, though, just remember who said it's going to hit. Next
I'm
game
sure
we
you won't
got
let me forget it, so I won't have to worry about it.
Austin's this week's. I feel like we've had a lot of these this season, by the way. Austin's most hated game of the week. Niners at Chicago versus the Bears. Two teams that Austin obviously hates. Austin, I'll allow you to go first. Who you got?
Oh man, yeah. Either way, I'm kind of fucking down bad because I hate the Bears. The Packers arch nemesis. The Joker to my Batman, if you will. Whereas the 49ers, them and the Seahawks are the non-divisional teams that I wish I could metaphorically stab in the eye with a fork. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to go with the Bears on this one. I think they're a little bit better of a well-rounded team. They kind of found their identity. They have a few games under their belt where they've been firm in backing Justin Fields. You know, coming off two bad losses, but they beat the Raiders and the Lions before that. Whereas the 49ers, I'm not sure what's going on there. They still got Jimmy Garoppolo under contract. You got Trey Lance, who you drafted. I'm sure there's some kind of weird dynamic there, Tyler, in the locker room and in the mind of Garoppolo. It's like, all right, you made me, at that point, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now you're not even backing me to say I'm 100%, 100p no C, the starting quarterback. There's something awry. I'm gonna say in San Francisco right now, and I think the Bears are in a little bit better spot mentally. So I guess I'm gonna go with Chicago.
I'm gonna agree with you, but you're missing the biggest key point of why I'm gonna go with Chicago this week.
Why is
Matt
that?
Nagy
Okay.
out, tested positive for COVID. He is possibly out for this game. I think the Bears come out and piss all over the Niners without Matt Nagy. They're going to play freely. They're going to have a cohesive game together. Justin Fields is going to finally feel free and ball out. Khalil Herbert, the 6th-round draft pick, as everybody well knows, is playing super well, probably going to rush for 100 on him. The biggest question mark I have about the Niners this year is I don't understand how they're not good. I understand they have a lot of injuries, but, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo at some point has to be somewhat decent. They have, Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa, who's considered one of the best defensive ends in the league. They have, I guess it just boils down to their offense. I mean, who do they have on offense besides Deebo Samuels? I mean, Eli Mitchell
Kittle's
1 week
still
and then
out.
he's injured. Kittle's on IR. I mean, it's just this game just – I want to pick the Niners in every aspect of this because I don't trust the Bears whatsoever. And I know, Austin, if our parlay doesn't hit this week, it's because of this fucking game. But I'm going to have to go with the Bears on this one.
Yeah, and let me just go on a quick tangent, Tyler. If you're going to say, Matt Nagy being out with COVID is going to impact it, as if my suspicions of the NFL being rigged weren't high enough with, the mere referees and, players to come into factor. Now you throw COVID out there. I mean, shit. Let's see. We want Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to be the new face of the NFL. Let me just talk to one of the nurses administering the test over there in Green Bay, and let's say, Devontae Adams test positive before a fucking publicly nationally televised game against the best team in the NFL. Like, oh yeah, let me just fucking throw that out there. And let's not make it too suspicious. So let's say Allen Lazard tests positive too. Despicable. Over it already.
Is that end of tangent?
Yeah, I don't want
to bring up the
long.
Packers one more time.
Well, you got me going with the fucking COVID people being out as a result of testing positive, and then I just put my fucking tinfoil hat on, and I had to go on a quick tangent.
Next game we got. Hopefully you don't have your tinfoil hat still on because lightning is a brewing. Patriots at Chargers. Austin, easy pick for me. I know you're heading down to San Diego.
Dan, I was gonna say, Dan, maybe have Steven Photoshop a tinfoil hat on me for that segment if you can.
And just go. Um,
Sorry.
easy
Speaking
pick
of
for
San
me.
Diego,
Obviously,
you were going
Patriots
somewhere and I
coming off.
fooled it.
I was gonna say Chargers, San Diego, but then
Yeah.
I realized they're in LA,
All
so
right. So I kind of
doesn't work.
saved you then.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did. But now I just put myself back under. Patriots coming off a huge win, obviously against the Jets, 54-7. Chargers coming off of a bye. Obviously, the Chargers are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They're in second in the AFC West right now. Let me remind you, but it's not going to stay long after this week. Chargers over the Patriots. Justin Herbert going to prove why he's going for NFL MVP this season. As I said, 2019 best pick in the draft. I said that. Austin said Jordan Love. Don't forget. People don't forget. Anyways, Chargers over Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, the hometown team, Chargers, we just got some cleats in today at work that we're going to be working on. NDA, can't really disclose who they're for. However, be on the lookout for the My Cause My Cleats week. B Street Shoes will be representing out there. But as for...
Blink twice if it's Justin Herbert.
nah, no, it's not Herbert, not Herbert. No, this one's going to be easy. Patriots, I don't know what's going on here. I think the Patriots could be better, but they don't want to be. They still want to get a decent draft pick. Belichick, he's playing it smart. He's not putting Mac Jones in these situations. He's not going for it a lot on fourth down. He's not putting Mac Jones in a situation to be hated, right? Patriots fans, if you ask their opinion on him, it's like, yeah, well, he hasn't really had the opportunity to show his full potential. Well, I think that's by design because at the same time, he hasn't really had the opportunity to show how bad he could be. I think Belichick, he's always playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. However, Chargers, they're just a better football team. Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Everyone's healthy. I don't follow them too closely, but I don't really know of any key guy that's out. I mean, I think Keenan Allen has made it, as my camera cuts out, Keenan Allen has made it, the furthest into the season that he has in the past 10 years. Same with Mike Williams. I'm not sure why the Chargers have had this kind of streak with injury-prone wide receivers. They're looking good, and I expect them to continue that hot streak against the Patriots coming off a bye.
Next game we got Jaguars at Seahawks. Austin, I'm not feeling the Seahawks team, as probably most of America is not. I have a bone to pick with DK Metcalf as a fantasy football owner. Obviously, last night they played the Saints. They lost against the Saints. DK Metcalf, I'm down 40, 46 or whatever it was in fantasy football. Rips off an 84-yard touchdown first quarter. I'm thinking, oh shit, I got a chance at this. It's game time. And then next thing I know, DK Metcalf's out there looking like Rikishi trying to fucking give elbows out there in a Royal Rumble with Marshall Lattimore. And I'm like, this dude every single play is not even looking to catch tutties. He's looking to get out there and give down the people's elbow. DK, we need to focus on touchdowns. We need to focus on catching the ball. You had 2 receptions last week. I think the week before you had 3, if that. And you wanted to run the ball instead of getting out of bounds to win your team the game against the Colts. I mean, what are you doing, man? Come on.
You trying to trade him?
As a fantasy football, I am trying to trade him, Austin. I looked at your team today. I don't know if there's anything that we could work out that I would find favorable and you would find favorable. DK Metcalf in our fantasy league is on the trading block. I've announced it here first. But
I think we can figure something out. You
Austin,
like Godwin? You like Chris Godwin? Huh?
Former Penn State great. I mean,
on your favorite team in the NFL?
Yeah. This week though, at Jaguars, the dumpster fire of the NFL, I can't go against the Seahawks on this one. Although I think they're bad, I don't think that they're this bad. At this point, I think Geno Smith is a decent quarterback. Can get something going. Chris Carson, is he coming back? Or I think he's on IR, but maybe they'll get the run game established. Their defense is what really needs to step up. I mean, they had a decent game against the Saints. They couldn't stop Alvin Kamara, I don't think, that much. But I think this is going to be a good game for them to win. So I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think 46-year-old Matt Hasselbeck could go out there, lace up the cleats, and for the Seahawks and beat the Jaguars this year. Yeah, the Seahawks are bad. The Jaguars are just worse. I don't really have anything else to say. You know, Clearly the Legion of Boom is no longer. I don't know how Pete Carroll thought that Jamal Adams would be their saving grace. He hasn't really. I mean, he's been playing decent. He hasn't played up to his price tag, I don't think. I mean, how many first round picks did they give him to the Jets? We'll see what they can do with those in the offseason, but where is it? It's in Seattle. Yeah, I mean, hopefully the 12th man can go out on the field and help the Seahawks because they're going to need it, but I think they got enough firepower to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Speaking of Chris Godwin and former Penn State great, Bucks at Saints this weekend, Halloween weekend in New Orleans. I think this is going to be a spooky game. Black magic could be made, but I think that Tom Brady playing out of his mind right now. He's leading the league in passing yards, leading the league in touchdowns. Dude's 44 years old, pumping avocado through those veins. Bucks too strong. Their run game is existent and resurgent once again with the two duo backs with Rojo, of course, after I dropped him in fantasy, and Leonard Fournette. Mike Evans coming off a big
Rojo
game.
have a good week last week?
I mean, they gave him the ball more. I mean,
yeah, but they were blowing him out, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they had
38-3. So obviously they got the scrubs in there, the fifth quarter JV team.
Yeah, but Tom Brady throwing his 600 touchdown, avocado oil running through his veins, going up against a Jameis Winston. Austin, I look at this guy. This dude had LASIK surgery over the offseason, yet he's still looking at the scoreboard, looking at the time like this. Like he's like deer in the headlights. He's confused about where he is. He looks like he just got flashed in the eyes by Men in Black. I mean, I don't trust the Saints this season. They barely beat the Seahawks. This is going to be a pretty crazy, widespread game, I think. I'm going Bucks on this. I wish the spread was higher. I probably would have taken it, but
what is it again?
Like -6.
Yeah,
I think it was -6.
Yeah, no, I mean Tom Brady is a fucking robot. This guy is gonna be facing off against Arch Manning in Super Bowl fucking 69. Imagine that, just Tom Brady versus Arch Manning, Super Bowl 69, gets his fucking 12th ring and retires. I don't know if this guy's ever gonna retire. He may just fucking go out there with a walker, just play in the pistol formation, dump it off to Gronk every time just for 3 yards a chunk. The Saints, I don't know. Much like the Steelers, beat the Bills week 1, Saints beat the Packers. I think that was just an anomaly that doesn't really mean much in the overall landscape of the NFL this season. Bucks are the Bucks, 6-1. It's hard to go against the undefeated Cardinals as the best team right now, but you could somewhat make an argument saying as the Buccaneers are the reigning champs. I think they have no problem against Jameis and the Saints, even though they're going to be at the Superdome. Or it's not even the Superdome anymore, right? It's the
Mercedes-Benz.
I
think it's the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Saints Stadium.
I'm going to go Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
I thought Caesars Superdome. Formerly the Louisiana Superdome and the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. For some reason, I thought they dropped the coin Superdome altogether. But anyways, yeah, all Bucks.
All Bucks, no breaks.
Hey.
Next game we got Washington football team at Denver against the Broncos. Another stinker of the week, Austin. Who do you got?
This is funny. Two kind of similar teams, both defensive minded. I think if there's any you know, doppelganger team, right? I feel like this meme with the Spider-Man, the Broncos, and the football team are going to be pointing at each other. However, I think this is going to be one of those trap games with the over-under, right? Two defensive-minded teams, two struggling quarterbacks, right? Nothing really flashy on the offensive side of the ball. I like the over in this one. And I also like the football team. I think they got
What's the over?
I don't know. I just like it in general. it's
He
probably
says just smash the over.
it's probably
I
low
don't care if it's
40.
54 and a half.
No, it's gonna be low. Washington over. The odds here. This is FanDuel. 43.5. I mean, I could easily see this being a 24-21, which would cover right there.
What is Vegas now? What is Vegas now?
Obviously they don't know how to have a football team. Aha ha.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That over. I'm gonna put that in our parlay.
All right. It's one of those, like, you know what I'm saying though? It's like a trap. Like these teams, defensive teams that they probably haven't scored much points per game all year, and I think they come out firing. But yes,
So who
and
do
then
you
I'm
got at
I'm
the end
also
of it?
picking the football team.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think the Broncos are frauds. Obviously, they've shown it week in and week out so far. I've continued to pick them, and I've continued to get my ass handed in to me by them. They did recently get some linebacker from the Rams, Kenny Young, for like a 6th-round pick to help bolster their defense a little. I don't think that's going to make a difference. I think Taylor Heineke's playing well. Antonio Gibson probably going to nurse that injury a little bit more, come back a little bit healthier. Scary Terry's probably low-key one of the best wide receivers in the league, and he's playing like it. I just think this Washington football team is a sneaky, competitive team. They played decent against the Packers, as you saw last week, Austin. So I'm going to have to ride with them on this one. I was going to say this would be part of our money line, but I'm going to add, or the parlay, but I'm going to put the over into
Mm-hmm.
the parlay rather than the Washington football team money line.
Yeah.
The next game we got Cowboys at Vikings. This is a pretty easy pick for me. And this was a pick that I was thinking, Austin, that is not going to be an easy pick for me now that I remember. We'll obviously know more when this podcast is released with Dak Prescott, whether he's going to be hurt or whether he's going to be, playing. I'm going to assume that he's going to play through it. And if that's the fact, I have to go with the Cowboys on this one. Their offense is just playing too well, too many options. Dak Prescott also playing MVP caliber football. They're getting Zeke Elliott the ball now. He's, rushing out of his mind, playing like how Zeke should. I just think the offensive firepower of this Cowboys team is unmatched in most cases, in most matchups in the league, where you face a Vikings team who's kind of hit or miss. They have Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, whether he's playing or not, could be the best running back in the league. I do think this is going to be a good game. While I'm talking, Austin, can you get me the over/under on this one?
Do you have the
Cowboys.
spread? Or is this a spread game or is this a straight up?
This is a straight up. I think the Cowboys are stronger. Even defensively, I think the Cowboys are stronger. So for my pick, I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys on this one against the Vikings.
All right. So the Cowboys are favored by 2.5, and the over under is set to 54.5.
Oh my
That's up there. They're expecting some points to fly off the board. And
what does Vegas know? I might slam the under on that one.
nah, life's too short to bet the under. Life's also too short
I'm betting the under.
to put any kind of faith in the Vikings. I do think they're better than their record shows, but the Cowboys, they're just a much better football team right now. They're running the ball, they're passing the ball. The defense is looking solid. Trayvon Diggs, if there was going to be a defensive guy, a player to win the MVP, he's got to be the front runner, and he's got to be one of the having one of the most prolific DB seasons in recent history. I mean, I think he's averaging an interception in every game, Tyler. That's crazy. I think the Cowboys. I do think I'm not sold.
Sunday night primetime too.
I'm not sold it's gonna hit the over, Tyler. I just don't feel confident enough to bet the under. I do think there's gonna be a lot of points scored. I just think the Cowboys put up more points than the Vikings, and they end up winning.
I'm gonna bet the fuck out of the under on Sunday.
Just don't put it in the parlay.
In Jamaica. I'm gonna be hammered in Jamaica, and I'm gonna be betting the fuck out of the under in this game. Last game of the week, last spread game of the week too, the fourth of the four. Giants at Chiefs.
This is
Giants
a spread game.
At Chiefs. Spread game -10 to the Chiefs.
I almost like Giants money line. Am I crazy?
Austin, I don't think you're crazy.
What is going on with the Chiefs?
What does Vegas know is my question. I don't care what Vegas knows. I'm going with the Giants on this one. I don't think that the Chiefs are who they think they are. I can see me getting screwed on this one. I just think that the Giants are playing well right now. Somehow, some way. I feel like I'm talking myself to bet against the Giants and go straight Chiefs covering the spread, but I don't know. I guess we need to talk this out. In Kansas City on a Monday.
Well, my pick was going to be dependent on what you're picking.
Well, that's weird. I mean, let's talk this out, Austin.
Because last week, if you remember, I said the Chiefs were going to go back and forth, the next few weeks, and then end up winning their last few, and probably end up making the playoffs, catch fire at the end of the season. 10 is a big spread for the Giants that blew out the Panthers. Yes, the Panthers. The Chiefs get blown out by the Titans. Are the Titans good? Are the Chiefs bad? I don't know. But I think for me, I have to talk myself into this one that this is going to be the Chiefs' bounce back game, so then they can get throttled by the Packers in the following week. So the Packers aren't their bounce back game. They're at home. It's just, as long as Jackson isn't there on the sideline making TikToks, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, also, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had the Giants in this one before we kind of spoke this into existence.
Fuck you, take them.
Now talking
Come
about
on.
it, you bring up a valid point. The Chiefs face the Packers next week. This is a must-win game situation for the Chiefs. And I think this is a game where they show out that, they are a good team. There's all throughout the media, ESPN, SportsCenter, Fox News, whatever you want to fucking say. They're coming at the Chiefs. They're saying that they're not legit. They're saying that they're not Super Bowl contenders. They are who they didn't think they were. They're sick of hearing it. And I think Andy Reid is, and I think this is going to be a blowout. And I don't want to say it, but I think it is. Austin, if I have your good graces, I don't want to put this in the parlay because it's on Monday night, and I don't want to wait a whole day just to have this not hit. So I am taking the Chiefs to cover the spread. I don't feel great about it, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I just, they're still the Chiefs and they're still the Giants. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what the records say. I just still think the organization and the players that they have on their teams point towards the Chiefs winning and covering 10 points.
So we have I can't tell I think this is an 11-game parlay. The No Load Podcast, 11 games. 11 game parlay. This is I can put it in, get the odds for you, tell you how much you would win on a $5 bet. But right now, we have, are you ready, Austin?
Mm-hmm.
The No Look Parlay of the week number 8. Falcons money line, Titans money line, Bills spread, Bengals spread, Browns money line, Eagles money line, Bears money line, Chargers money line, Bucks money line, Broncos Washington football team over at 43.5, and Cowboys money line. This is
No
the
way
No
that
Look
hits.
Podcast
No way.
parlay of the week.
Oh fuck.
Austin, I want to put this in real quick. I
I
want to
mean,
see how much we would win.
I'll throw 20 on that, but there's just no way in hell that hits. Just hearing that back, there's like 3 or 4 in there that there's, you know, the odds on it, the money compensation would be great just to throw that in a parlay. It's probably going to be 100 something thousand payout for a $10, but there's just no way in hell.
Did we have the? We didn't have the Rams. No, we didn't pick that game. It was Bengals. Actually, it was Bengals spread. Sorry, I'm just putting it in real quick. Browns are favored in this game, so I don't think that's as crazy as we think. The Bears are actually not the favorites in this one, so that should help us a little bit. Next game. Did I forget the Seahawks? I did.
What'd we do for that one? Seahawks.
We said the Seahawks were gonna win, and Seahawks money line. So actually, I lied. 12-team parlay this week.
Hey, so these are all the games that we agreed on?
Yes.
Man, we're gonna. I mean, we're just gonna stay neck and neck because we all picked the same games.
Hold on, I'm almost there. And then
while Tyler's doing that, while you guys are watching this, it's gonna be 10:30 EST on Thursday, right? Because we're taping this ahead of time. I'm gonna be completely shit-faced watching the Packers game. It'll probably be halftime. I really hope I'm gonna be happy drunk and not sad drunk, Tyler, because, oh man, the Packers. If if the alcohol doesn't do it to me, the Packers are gonna give me a heart attack.
I don't think we can do a 13-team parlay.
Okay.
Invalid number of selected details for a parlay. I think it has to be 9.
I've never seen a limit before, unless you have like the over/under and like a money line or a team in this, in the same game, because you can't do that.
I don't think I do.
Like if you accidentally put like the football team and the over in that game, it wouldn't go through because you can't do 2 bets for the same game.
Yeah, I don't understand what it is, but
we'll
those are
back.
Our picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll text Austin the details. We'll post it on TikTok and Instagram, and maybe win some money this week. Who knows?
Maybe I'll come down and meet you in Jamaica, and we'll just stay there for a month.
Deal.
Sip some coconut rum out of I'm gonna fucking climb up to a palm tree and yank a coconut down, just pry it open with my bare hands.
Is that strong core strength?
That would be core strength and back strength mixed with my strong hands just punching into the tree so I could just pull my way up. All right. Anything else? We got a girthy episode here. About an hour 15. Tyler, are we gonna see you on Thirsty Thursday? You taking over?
TPD. On taking over. I might. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about if I'm gonna do it. I do have to wake up at 4 a.m. the next morning, so we shall see.
Or you could just not go to bed.
Stay tuned. Or not go to bed, but I don't think I want to do that.
You heard it here first. Even though real time, it's gonna happen like instantly after this airs. But all right, No Look Podcast, Tyler. I hope at this point on Thursday, at this time on Thursday, the Packers are winning against the Cardinals.
I hope so too for you, but if not, I'm right.
All right. Until next time. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.